Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Bounce Back, Better, Stronger, Smarter. We're going to have a fantastic summit that's upcoming in a week's time. But in between, we have the pre-summit where we bring in different guests to talk about the summit, but also to share some insights on what's going to be happening at the summit. And today, to kick off the whole event, I've got the co-founder of Together We Can Change the World, Jana Stanfield, here with us. Jana, welcome to the show, and really glad to have you. We've not singing and somewhat clogging our ears with his singing over the last couple of weeks. So it's actually good to have somebody who can sing. Not that Scott can't, but that brings some real music to us. And maybe we start today, instead of talking, let's kickstart it with our song, Together We Can Change the World. Can we do that, Jana?
Can do. It starts with one who sees a child in need and asks a friend, how many can we feed? And now there's two, a power so much greater than we knew. 'Cause when two or more are gathered, together we can change the world. 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 And one by one, the blessings multiply and children grow right before our eyes, and goodness knows we'll always have enough when we give love to one another. Together we can change the world. 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 When you care and you dare to share the harvest of the seeds you've sown, the life you choose may be your all, your all. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world.
Thank you so much, Jana. And yes, together we can change the world. And which brings us to what we're doing today, Bounce Back Summit, where the idea is to raise up about $200,000 for communities in need, for charities, for NGOs, and in partnership with global leaders from around the world who share their expertise, who share their intelligence. So Jana, I'm gonna bring in Scott Friedman to us. Scott, welcome, and always good to have you, Scott and Jana. We have both the founders, I guess, of Together We Can Change the World. Maybe in about 20-30 seconds, Jana, you can share a little bit about Together We Can Change the World and what you guys are doing in Together We Can Change the World, and how is Bounce Back Summit connected to Together We Can Change the World.
One thing that I like about being part of Together We Can Change the World at this time in the world is that the world really is changing. I believe that there are less boundaries between us. Look, we're in other countries talking all together. This is really our chance to change the world together for good.
And Scott?
First, you had mentioned something about my singing. Should we do a quick audience vote and see whose singing was better, Jana's or mine? Maybe not. Maybe we better save that for now.
We'll start a poll. But there are viewers coming on. Jana, Dr. Pativan loved the song. Jana, very inspiring. Glad to hear your beautiful voice and everyone saying hi. So Jana, we're gonna bring Jana back to the show. But today we have a special guest with us, right? So Jana will be right back with us, and we'll talk a little bit more about the summit in a bit. But in the meantime, we've got a guest with us. Scott, you want to tell us a little bit about this guest? And in fact, it's one of the communities or one of the societies or NGOs that we will be supporting in Together We Can Change the World. Can you, Scott, maybe brief us a little bit about Ronald Khoo and the work that he does, and then let's bring Ronald onto the show.
Sure. Hey, can we bring him on just in case I get something wrong? Then he can say, "Hey, Scott, come on, that's not how it happened."
All right, fantastic. So Ronald, welcome to the show. And
Hi, everybody.
Introduce you in a bit, but yeah, if he does go wrong, just butt in and
Yeah, he does go wrong quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, the only way you get wrong, you seem to go. I don't know what. So Ron and I, we met in 2013, 7 years ago. Is that what we decided?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, around then.
So Ron was at the time president of an organization called EO, which stands for Entrepreneurs Organization. And as president, Ron was doing a program for EO in Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur on delivering happiness. And so I write books on how celebration impacts productivity and performance. And Ron had invited me to come in and be a speaker. And that's when I learned that Ron was involved with Food for Good, the founder of Food for Good. And so Ron had a restaurant at the time called Mango Chili in Kuala Lumpur. And I love the concept. For every meal they served, they would give a meal to a needy child somewhere in, I guess it was in Kuala Lumpur at the time, right?
In Kuala Lumpur, yeah.
Yeah, at the time. So, but the concept was so successful that they got way behind in their meals because they couldn't figure out how to distribute those meals. Is that right, Ron?
Yeah, we needed to give more than we were giving slower than what we could.
So that's where Together We Can Change the World came in, because we had a lot of causes in Southeast Asia at the time. And so we expanded Food for Good out to Cambodia, as well as what they were doing in Malaysia. And we started, I remember CCDO is Cambodia Community Dream Organization. We had Ginny on the show here 3 weeks ago, and she was telling us a little about that. But that became one of Food for Good's projects, where we would feed 1,100 kids a day at school. So Ron and I have been good buddies for 7 years now. Ron has since moved from Malaysia to Hong Kong, but he still runs Food for Good, and it's just a real honor to have you.
Well, thank you.
Tell the story, and thank you very much for being here. And we would love to hear the Food for Good story and where you're at now, and go ahead, take it away.
All right, thank you. It's a real honor to be here, and thank you for inviting. And it's always nice to see you, Scott, Jana, and today Roshan. Pretty much Food for Good project has been was kind of grown out of my own adversity. At that point, I had business issues with partnership issues. I kind of lost my business at the time, and was feeling all self-pity and had a lot of fear and uncertainty. And then I had to lead this 100+ members of the Entrepreneurs Organization Club, organization as president that year. So by chance, I was in Manila. I was co-chair of a business program called Taipan, and I had a chance of sitting next to this guy called Dylan Wilk, who was once England's 10th richest guy under 30 years old, and we got talking and we got to know each other, and he told his story, and I love his quote, and today is still one of my favorite quotes. It says, "It's less for self, more for others, and enough for all." So from that day on, after meeting him, I was so inspired that I decided I was going to get rid of all my self-pity and all that, and I was going to just change and use my skills and talents to just follow that quote, to give others. So what happened was I decided, instead of taking all this pain and hurt and then creating a theme for the year called Delivering Happiness. And that was when I met Scott, because Scott's in the celebration, the keynote, he's got a book on celebration, and he talks about positivity and all that. So Scott ended the year for us, for that 1 year. We had Jen Lim and Tony Xia. I'm forever grateful for them for helping us with the Delivering Happiness team. They sent us books, and Jen Lim came by in the mid-year to help us to grow that year. And then Scott ended the year very well for us with his Celebrate keynote. And then Scott told me about Together We Can Change the World then, and he seemed like a good guy, someone could be trusted. So I decided, So yeah, so I followed him to Siem Reap, my first trip, and yeah, and when you're really on the ground and you see how the kids there are living, and the people who welcome us to their homes in the villages, they have no electricity or clean water, but they still welcome us into their homes. They cut the whole watermelon for us to eat, and it's basically what basically everything they have, right? So it's really heartbreaking, and so we decided, okay, we're going to support together. We can change the world, and for we've been giving away meals, trying to make sure. One of the burdens that I have is the pains that I feel is that I want the child to go to school without an empty stomach. So we've been supporting breakfast programs there, so that they can have a proper breakfast before they go to school and then study. So that's what happened, and where we are now. So we've given away maybe around close to, I think, 70 or 80,000 meals right now. So our BHAG, or Big Hairy Audacious goal, of course, I want to reach 1 million meals, within the next 5 years. Yeah, so that's a BHAG.
Okay. We want to help
And
you do
yeah,
that.
so I'm gonna need a lot of help for that, and I'm speaking to a few restaurant groups right now. So we need all the help we can get. So I'm trying to create an alliance of restaurants who can do the same thing, and then that's where we'll be able to get the meals, coming in. So yeah, that's where we are. Lots of work to do in Southeast Asia. Lots of people to help.
So if individuals wanted to get involved, is there any way to do that as just somebody that loves your concept and wants to serve those that need food in Southeast Asia? Are you pretty much still focused then in Southeast Asia? I know you work with us in Southeast Asia, but do you plan on
I think
outside?
I think right now pretty much Southeast Asia for now. Yeah, until we hit the level where we have too many meals to give away, then we can expand.
You think you're going to ever get there?
I think so. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I know there's a lot of need in Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Well, it's been wonderful working with you, and look forward to many more years. And when we can travel again, hopefully next July we'll be
likewise. Yeah.
In our four country tour, and we'll see.
And
looking forward.
I know a lot of people, Ron. They want to do good and they want to try to. What sort of advice would you give to those who are trying to do good but don't seem to? I mean, your story is inspiring because it's you were stuck. You were almost at a point where didn't seem to have much meaning, and then you bounce back somewhat, right? I mean, it's a bounce back story of sorts, right? You bounce back by saying, let me add some meaning to my life by giving, by doing what is good, and not just focusing on myself. I mean, you moved away from just success for yourself to significance for the world, somewhat. So I mean, what sort of advice would you give? Because many people are grappling. The pandemic sort of put people in a rut where you're kind of confused on what should I be doing, and how can you turn that around and do good as you have done? What sort of advice would you impart?
I think gratefulness is one of is important, because we have so much to be grateful for, and sometimes we think okay, just because we had to take a pay cut or whatever during the pandemic, we can't travel, we feel so depressed, but we should be grateful that we are not as worse off as some other people, right? So I think just being grateful, and just as you put gratefulness into your mind, then anything that's negative will eventually get out of the mind, right? So then you kind of find yourself in a different kind of mode, different emotional state. So then once you get there, I think then I think it's just starting small. We started feeding an orphanage, 30 kids every day, and we had the meals delivered there, 30 meals a day, and once that works, it kind of grows, So I guess, and whoever wants to do good, do good in whatever you're passionate about, and start with one, and one becomes 10 becomes 100, and
And so I just to summarize, I mean, it's really about take time to reflect and try and get a sense of what you're passionate about and where you are, and then start small, and figure out how to make that one step, and then from there see where that leads, and over time you will start to see that the ripple effect of your impact starts to cascade down. I mean that's
I think that's the essence of it, because genuine with the genuine need to help, and that will eventually come,
And what's next for Food for Good? I mean, what's the next? So Scott was asking you a little bit about, is that expansion, but or is it really going deeper with the, in each of the spaces that you're helping? What's the thinking behind what's next for Food for Good?
So obviously, yeah, I don't have the restaurant anymore. So obviously, I need to find a model that's sustainable, a business kind of like business model, right? So I'm trying to get an alliance of restaurants. I'm talking to a few restaurant groups. I want to get some chefs, significant chefs who've contributed a lot and now want to do something different. And once I get the alliance going, I think the volume will just increase, because let's say you imagine 50 restaurants together doing the 1-for-1 program versus my one restaurant. We could be doing we could reach the 1 million meals quite easily.
Oh, fantastic.
Great.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot, Ron. I really appreciate your time. Scott, anything else you want to share about Ron or Food for Good?
One quick thing. We one of our other causes that we're supporting during this time, and Ron is actually, I don't know if we're supporting Ron, or I think it'd be more accurate to say Ron is supporting us. Because Bacol Kalinga, one of in the Philippines, is a wonderful community, and every night they serve 300 not only kids but community members, and Ron just committed to being part of that and feeding the kids in the Philippines. So Ron, thank you very much for that.
Oh, pleasure. Our pleasure.
So great to have you on the show. And
yeah. So thanks a lot, Ron, and much appreciated. And thanks for your advice. I think that's sound advice. As many people are stuck in a rut, and how do you untangle yourself from sometimes this mindset of being a victim and everything against you, and trying to propel yourself out and say, let me do something. And that, I think that's right. It's spot on. It's about taking small baby steps to get to the next level. So thanks. And Ron, so your final thoughts for us before we let you off the hook today.
Yeah, I think this quote, less for self, more for others, enough for all. This sums it all quite well. Yeah.
Less for self, more for others, right?
Enough for all. Yeah.
I think you both hit on it really well. Is when we're at our worst self or our worst place, the best way to get out of that is to serve others.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Very good. So thank you, Ron, and
welcome. Thank you for having me.
Very good. So thanks again. Ron's I thought it was fantastic. And then Scott, talk us through this whole Bounce Back Summit a little bit. So part of the Bounce Back, actually all of the funds generated from Bounce Back Summit will be given to community organizations like Food for Good, like Bacol Kalinga, like M.A.D, MSRI, which is a refugee school in Malaysia, and many other organizations across Southeast Asia, right? So talk us through what's the summit and why are we having this?
So Roshan and I, we have worked together now for about 5 years, and Kuala Lumpur is one of our stops where we usually go live, and we match the business community with the causes that we serve, so to raise awareness and money for the causes. And we had 18 coming over in July, Malaysia, Singapore, Cambodia, and Thailand. And unfortunately, we had to cancel due to COVID, obviously. And so we've recreated ourselves online, that partnership, because our needs are greater with the causes that the two organizations, Leaderonomics and Together We Can Change the World, serve. So we thought, well, how can we raise money at a time when it's so desperately needed? And that's when we decided to recreate ourselves online with the theme Bounce Back, Better, Stronger, Smarter. And we have 12 weeks. Every Tuesday in the US, Wednesday morning in Asia, we will have either it's a combination of those who have bounced back from amazing odds to business leaders that have done great things and are making a difference and serving their community. So it's a combination of those two things. But bottom line is you get some great inspiration, you get some great wisdom, and maybe Roshan, I'll let you talk about Nicole. But Nicole is a learning experience that was part of the deal. That what do you usually sell that for? You're 140 something.
About 100 US. Yeah.
So that'll be part.
Yeah, so, I mean, as I was saying, it's not just 12, 14 speakers that come and inspire you. It's also, having access to a learning platform, and Nicole's going to be a learning platform. So that's going to be part of the ticket price. So by paying $120, you get the 12 speakers plus Nicole, plus inside Nicole, you'd get weekly coaching from, some coaches like Justin Cohen. He's like a celebrity in South Africa, and Jean-Marie Giovanna. And also you'll get sessions. I mean, we've got some great coaches like Paul Larson and others who have signed up for these Ask Me Anything sessions where, essentially you can ask them questions live and they would answer them. So, all this thing bundled together for $120. So I urge you guys, I mean, so to me, I look at it as it's a leadership development program, a long-term leadership development program for individuals and organizations. And you can sign up at bouncebacksummit.org. Scott, I'm going to bring back Jana into the stream. Jana, welcome. Jana, welcome back. I know we will probably make you sing again. But before we do that, I'd love to hear your thoughts on, the importance of learning, the importance of growth, and some of the work that you are doing with MSRI, because MSRI is the refugee school that is also being supported. It's one of the communities that we will be supporting, and that's based in Malaysia. Maybe you can share a little bit about the work at MSRI and also the work that you're doing with film school and other areas.
Oh, MSRI has done so much with help from Leaderonomics Together We Can Change the World. Through the pandemic, all of the families made it, all of the students of Refugee Film School made it, and we're very grateful for the food donations from MSRI. So thank you for that. It really made a difference. And for MSRI, that's been a big challenge because refugees don't have computers. So for them to go online for school, kids are out there working on their phones and really working hard to finish their education. And we're very grateful for all that you're doing. Plus, this bounce back is great for everybody because all of us are working in an entirely new normal. I call it the magnificent new normal. So we're all finding out, where's the silver lining? Where am I headed next? What's next? How can I say yes to the rest of my destiny and bounce back at a higher level near all of the things that you were looking for anyway? Bouncing back is a great thing. Yeah. So you guys wanted another song. Should we do, I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do? Or should we do every awesome woman was a little girl with the power to change her world?
Ooh.
Whichever makes, whichever you think it's more appropriate. But I mean, both are fine. I mean,
every awesome woman, because then I can sing along. I'm going to sing along to both of them.
Because Scott's an awesome woman.
Okay, if we could get any technical assistance backstage, Shashi, that microphone level, which one to turn up, which one to turn down.
You notice I wasn't on the screen for the first song.
I'll leave it to you guys.
Like a tiny speck of sand can grow into a pearl. Every awesome woman was once a little girl. A miracle in nature,
brilliant by design.
Brilliant by design. Like the summer sun, she was born to shine. I give a girl hope and opportunity. You will be amazed at all that she can be. Every awesome woman was once a little girl with the power to change her world. The heart of every girl is like a tiny seed. With a little help,
she can be a mighty tree.
to the roots so deep, she can reach for the sky. She can build a better world.
She's not afraid to try.
Try. Little girl, hope that opportunity. You will be amazed at all that she can be. Every awesome woman was once a little girl. Power to change her world. With education, she'll have no limitation. She can build her children's expectation. When she's given what's essential,
Her potential is exponential.
her potential is exponential. Give a girl hope.
Give a girl hope.
Opportunity.
Opportunity.
You will be amazed.
You will be
At
amazed.
all that she can be.
All that she can be.
Every awesome woman.
Every awesome
Was
woman.
once a little girl.
A little girl.
Change her world.
Her world.
Every awesome woman. Every
Every little girl
has
has
the
the
power
power
to change.
change her world.
Okay, Scott, I got a song here that I know, Roshan, I know you will enjoy this one
Let's go.
because it's about M.A.D for Good,
All
the
right.
program that Roshan and Leaderonomics put on for youth every year. So glad we got to be part of it last year.
Yep.
That was
And
great
and
success, wasn't it?
and this year we've had another program. I mean, just to give you guys a quick update, we had another program, a virtual M.A.D program recently, and we're giving out more money to kids so that the kids can go out and do projects that make a difference in the community. So it's fantastic. We've already given out thousands and thousands to these kids, and the projects have been super impactful. And now we've done a second round recently on a virtual M.A.D summit. So again, all these different initiatives, right? I mean, that's why Bounce Back is so powerful, because it gets to support MSRI, the refugee school, the film school. It gets to support Food for Good. It gets to support book like Kalinga in the Philippines, and so many different causes, and all really about trying to make that one ripple in a person's life so that they can have a different trajectory. And ultimately, as they have that different trajectory, I think they start to influence so many people and influence so much good that can happen in the world. And I think we can be a partner in doing that. So I mean, that's why I'm so excited with things like Bounce Back and quotes like Jana, I really love your quote. I cannot do all the good the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do, and that to me is very powerful. So let's go.
Did you know that when I got back from Kuala Lumpur, right when the pandemic was starting, I got a call from an advertising company, and they used this quote in commercials for a month or two in prime time daily. It was so cool to see this on television every day.
What?
I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do. I cannot do all the good that the world needs. All the good that we can do. Oh, I wanted that you do the sign language. All right, here we go. You want to do it? Sign language all the way through, Scott?
Sure.
All right. Here we go. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do. 'cause we are mad for good. Mad for good. Making a difference. Mad for good. Mad for good. Mad for good. Making a difference. Mad for good. But bouncing back for good. But bouncing back for good. But bouncing back, making a difference. Bouncing back for good. 'Cause we're together, 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 together. We can change the world. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world.
Thank you so much. I mean, that's fantastic. And you know, I get goosebumps a little bit. I mean, it's you know, especially for you guys. I mean, you're both in the US today, and it's a big momentous occasion, I guess, with the possible change of president and all the different craziness that's happening out there.
Was that today?
I don't know. Maybe, you know.
Were
So,
we
I mean,
supposed to do
what's
something today, Scott? Scott, were we supposed to do something today? I knew something was on my calendar.
Yeah,
Were we
I think I did that like 6 weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh,
You were gonna
yeah.
mail in. You did.
Oh yeah, I did. I voted. You bet.
there
You
you
know,
go.
Roshan, I was in Malaysia the last time you guys had your big vote. I can remember people having the ink on their fingers. Scott, and you had just left 2 days before.
Yep.
Because we had a We Can Change the World trip, and that was my first Mad for Good experience. And Roshan, what you guys do for youth, teaching leadership principles to youth through leaderonomics, so that you start children young and help them learn these things. I know this is making a huge difference for Malaysia and a huge difference moving forward. How many kids have you guys worked with over the years in leaderonomics in your programs?
I think it probably is in the likes of about 120,000 or so now. I mean, it's over the last 12 years, it's been a huge number. It's about 10 to 12,000 a year at least. So you know, we're raking up about 15 now, and you know, the good news is that with virtual, I mean, we're running virtual camps with very poor marginalized communities right now. And one of the things that we worried so much was on connectivity. How do we get them devices or connectivity? And, you know, we've got some great partners like YTL Foundation and others that have stepped in and said, look, we'll buy, you know, Hapsing in Sabah, you know, we'll buy devices, or we'll give away devices, we'll give broadband, and we'll give these kids access. So one of the things that's exciting is not only do we touch them on leadership, but we're also helping to bridge this digital divide, because there's this huge digital divide between the folks that understand technology and the folks that don't even have access to it. And I think this is going to be a big differentiator, and just like what you're doing with MSRI, right? Giving them access to, teach them how to edit, teach them technology skills, teach them, giving access, you know, just to computers, to the internet. You know, I think those are significant game changers in especially developing countries. You know, as they start to need to compete with this global marketplace and this global workforce. So I'm excited that a lot of the funding is going to go to, you know, things that make sense. You know, food, it's a basic necessity, food for good, or even technology, you know, with MSRI, and or with helping to, you know, fund the staff to teach these kids, these refugee kids who otherwise will have no access, or even the M.A.D movement where you give kids money to make a difference, you know, teaching them how to change communities at a young age, and giving them access to the tools and the capacity or the funding that's needed to make a real difference, you know. So that's why, you know, the Bounce Back Summit is so exciting, you know. So, you know, to close it out, Scott, you know, what's your sort of advice that you would impart to folks that are considering, you know, should I buy a ticket? Should I be part of the Bounce Back community or not? What sort of advice would, you know, you impart, and maybe Jana too, if you have a final word of advice as we close this out?
I think you know, today's session was more focused on the causes and the good that we do, and I hopefully that resonates with people. That you know, Ron mentioned that when we come from a place of gratitude, we feel better. We immediately come from a place of love and kindness, and I think that, you know, I mean, there's great value in what we're offering at the Bounce Back Summit. But even if there wasn't, I mean, even if we charge 2 or 3 times as much, just the fact that we really are involved in so many good causes. I know Jana's dream has been for years to teach video editing skills, and with the film school under MSRI, and now a computer center that Together We Can Change the World just committed to helping them start. You know, it's just so heartwarming at such a tough time to provide the tools and the skills for kids that wouldn't necessarily have that opportunity to have that opportunity. So for that reason, and the fact that you're going to get inspired, you're going to get coached, and you're going to have a transformational goal to commit to, I mean, how can you say no to that?
Yeah, yeah. And you know, I'm just looking at the list of speakers, right? Immaculée, you know, she's a genocide survivor from Rwanda.
She's
I mean,
amazing.
that's an inspiring story that she has. I mean, Jack Canfield, you know, has some great leadership insights that he's always going to provide. You know, then you got Chester Elton, who's probably the guru on gratitude. And he's going to share on how gratitude helps us to be more resilient and to fight back and to be able to bounce back, you know, to some extent. So, you know, coupled with inspiring stories like W. Mitchell or even Jamie Andrews, who lost all 4 limbs. I mean, I cannot imagine. I mean, I've seen Jamie. He's been to my house for dinner a couple of times, but you know, to have no limbs, and my kids are amazed. How does he even eat, right? With no limbs, and how does he put on his shoe, and how does he, you know? But much more impressive, he's climbed mountains, right? He's continues to scalp the Swiss Alps with no limbs. You know, it's incredible, right? And when you hear their stories and when you see them in action, you're truly inspired to say that there's a lot more that we can give and a lot more that we can do to really make a difference in this world. And so that's why, you know, to see some of these speakers, it's so inspiring. You know, I think Hui Meng says, "Thank you, Jana. Always heartwarming to hear this song." You know, I see a couple more comments coming in from Patti, you know, and thank you so much for all your comments, folks, and for those who are listening in. Jana, your final thoughts before we close this out.
That there are silver linings all over the place in this pandemic, and that when you're involved in anything that's doing good in the world, you're not going to be thinking the world is falling apart. You're seeing things come together, connections being made. There's no barrier anymore between us. We can connect around the world and do good together. And I really believe that at this time, more than any other, together, we can change the world. We are changing the world together for good.
Fantastic. And so you have it. For those who have not, you know, registered, the site's bouncebacksummit.org, just go check it out. You know, one of the things that's unique that is happening here in Malaysia is that a lot of folks are coming to tell me that, you know, I you know, I want to attend, and I'm probably going to attend, but you know what? I think this is going to be great for a friend, or a great, you know, as a gift, you know, this Thanksgiving, this Christmas, it's a great gift to give to a colleague, to give to a family member, the gift of learning. The gift of being able to have this continuous learning. So, you know, if you go there, there's also you know, you can also give this to someone in this season and, you know, provide them with a gift of learning so that they can bounce back, they can grow, they can, you know, overcome obstacles and so on. So, you know, with that, you know, thank you so much. It's been fantastic hearing from both of you, and also from Ronald Khoo, from Food for Good. And, you know, next week we have a free session where Justin Cohen, from South Africa, you know, he's going to get up at 4 a.m. in the morning, or 3. Well, he's probably getting up at 3 a.m. because it's 4 a.m. for him, but he's going to come and inspire us. And it's a free session. Anyone can attend this session. And if you check in the comment section below, we'll put a link to this free session. You can attend this free session, and you can essentially come and listen to our kickoff of the Bounce Back Summit. So we'll have 2 sessions that are free, where anyone can come in and be inspired. And then we actually run the next 10 sessions or 12 sessions, you know, with the summit in the paid version. So feel free. Next Wednesday, we won't be on LinkedIn. We will be live in the summit. So check out the comment section below, and we'll put a link where you can sign up for the free sections, or better still, sign up for bouncebacksummit.org and attend everything and get full access to Nicole, and to everything that is out there. So thank you very much, Scott, Jana. Absolute pleasure to have you on our show, and we will see you next week at the Bounce Back Summit with Microsoft live, right? And we have Justin Cohen with us. So thank you. Have a great day, everyone, and to the Americans out there, all the best in your elections. Good luck, and I hope things work out as they should.
They did it in Malaysia.
Yeah, in Malaysia too. So with that, thank you very much, and Jana, thank you for your songs. BounceBackSummit.org. We'll see you next week at the summit proper. See you. Take care.